Shalom. This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. I want to start off by saying thank you to all of our Booster Club members for your many donations and much more, your prayers. We visited faraway countries and strange lands. We've even spoken to dignitaries and were detained for spreading the glorious gospel in Cuba. The truth is that the descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel were scattered throughout the world. Help us on our journey as we continue to raise up the nation of Israel. 12 tribes worldwide. Join or donate today. Shalom.
So I'm going to ask you a series of questions. Do you know the history about what happened to your people? You don't know any history about what happened to the so-called Mexicans down in Mexico. And okay, do you know who Christopher Columbus is?
Yeah.
What did Christopher Columbus do to this side of the world?
He discovered America?
He discovered America, but you guys were already here, so he didn't discover it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what about what happened once he discovered America? Did people shed blood? Were people happy? What happened?
They were like, what is he doing here?
Okay, and then what happened?
They got mad because the strangers were coming into their land.
Right, so what do? You defend yourself, right?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna show you what nation do you know what nations Christopher Columbus came from?
England.
England. So it's not England, it's actually Spain.
Oh yeah.
Spain, all right? So I'm gonna show you a series of prophecies that can identify with the atrocities that has happened to the so-called Mexicans, which you are from the tribe of Issachar, okay? And we're going to understand those two things. 49.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
So it says the Lord's going to bring a nation against you from far. Issachar was on this side of the world, right? Where's Spain? Where's Spain at?
In Europe.
In Europe, the other side of the world, very far distance, right? It says that Lord's going to bring a nation against you from far. That's a far distance, right?
Yeah.
Okay, read.
From the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flying.
It says from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flyeth. Now I got a question for you. So it's a far distance. Then it says it's giving you a symbol. A symbol. It says as swift as the eagle flyeth. Do you know the symbol that Spain represents?
No.
You don't know. All right, I'm gonna show you something. So I got this sign. See the sign?
Yeah.
What does it say right here?
Spanish coin eagle.
Spanish coin eagle. So this is the coin of Spain.
Yeah.
So what is the symbol that Spain is represented off of?
Looks like an eagle.
It looks like an eagle. Read the scripture again.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flyeth.
As swift as the eagle flies. So what nation was that? The Spaniards. They came and conquered whom?
America?
Okay, they did conquer, but whom in America?
Christopher?
No, your people. Our people, whom? Issachar. The so-called Mexicans. That's showing you that Christopher Columbus, when he came to this side of the world, he was these people. That's who the Bible is saying it is. Hey, your shirt, it says American Eagle. Guess what? It's the same nation that's killing us today. It's the same nation that got our kids down there in those what do you call them? Holding cells, separated from their parents. ICE.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Those are the same exact people, which is going to show you, guess what? These are the people who came up against you. Guess what God calls them?
What?
Okay, let's see. Read verse 48.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
So that nation came from Spain, England, France. Because guess what? On that sign over there, you have people who was conquered from Haiti. You have people who were conquered in Jamaica. You have people who were conquered from the west coast of Africa. And all throughout the world. But all those people were all coming to put people in slavery or colonization. Because that's what happened on this side of the world. It was colonization. You guys were colonized. We were put in slavery on slave ships. You guys were colonized, then put in slavery on slave ships and brought to other places around the world. That's the history between us. That's what makes us brothers. We were conquered by the same people. We have the same mother. We have the same forefather. We are the same people, but we don't look the same.
No.
You know why?
Why?
All right, I'm gonna deal with it. Go to Hosea 7 and 8. We'll deal with that first. Read Hosea chapter 7 and verse 8. Because you said, why? Why don't we look the same? I'm gonna show you that, and then I'm gonna go back to my other point. Read that.
Hosea chapter 7 and verse 8. Ephraim, he hath mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned.
Because we interracial married with the other people. That's why. So if I look like this and I continue to make people look like so-called white people, or if I continue to mix myself with them, what's going to happen to my lineage? It's going to get weaker. So you're not going to have the woolly hair like Jesus Christ has. You're not going to have that dark skin like Jesus Christ has. You're going to start to lighten. Your whole entire lineage was in that same exact manner. All right? Make sense? All right, go back. Deuteronomy 28, read verse 48.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
So God said, because we broke his laws, we serve our enemies. When Christopher Columbus came to this side of the world, what did he have the Mexicans do? Or what did the conquistadors have the Mexicans do? He put them in slavery. He made them pick wheat. He made them pick, what is that stuff called? Tobacco. Also, bananas. All these different crops, and he took those crops back to Spain to build the Spanish Empire. But you guys were the ones ruling this side of the world. You had Mexico City, that was a thriving metropolitan city. But somebody came in and took the gold back to Spain. Over 500,000 pounds of gold was taken back to Spain that you guys harvested. But guess what? This is because we broke God's laws. So you said, what does God call them? Read it again.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
Make the word emphasis right, all right?
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
That's what God calls them. The people who conquered the tribe of Issachar, the people who conquered the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives, which are the chosen people of God, the Israelites, God calls those people your enemies. Read it again.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
Black men, you serve your enemy. Let's see how. Read.
Which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger.
Victor, who do we get our food from? Who do we get our food from? We got to go to Safeway and get food. Who owns Safeway? Do we own it?
No.
So who owns it?
White people?
Who is that? Your enemy.
Yeah.
That's what God says. Read it again.
Therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger.
In hunger, when you want food, you want to go get that swine that is abominable and it's going against God's laws. Guess what? You're serving your enemy. You're not supposed to eat pork.
No.
That's against God's laws, brother. Okay? Let's keep reading, because it says in food. Read.
And in thirst.
In thirst. You thirsty, Victor?
A little.
A little. Okay, where you gonna get your thirst from?
My house.
What you got there?
Orange juice.
Okay. What else?
And water.
Orange juice and water. So if I got some orange juice and water, where'd you get it from?
White store.
So who you serve for your thirst?
The enemy.
The enemy. That's right. Let's read it. Keep reading.
And in nakedness.
And in clothing. It says American Eagle. That's your enemy's product. And you got it on your body. Okay, guess what? I had to buy my clothes from an enemy too. So we're in the same boat, brother. We all came here. We all came in the same condition together because we all collectively broke God's laws. So what do we have to do to fix the problem?
I don't know.
If we broke the laws or we did not keep the laws, what do we have to do in order to fix the problem? To be blessed. To be blessed, what do we have to do? Okay, let's get it. Give me Revelations 22 and verse 14. I want it to be clear as day as what it says. This is how you are blessed of God. You know, in Christianity, I'm blessed. I got a house and my children are in school. No, that's not how you're blessed. This is how you're blessed according to God. Read.
Revelations chapter 22 and verse 14. Blessed are they that do his commandment.
That's the only way you're blessed. If you do God's commandments. Now you have to ask yourself, do you know the commandments?
Some of them.
Okay, some of them. Let's start. Let me see which ones you know.
Don't hate your neighbor.
Okay, let's get it. Leviticus 19 verse 17.
Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 17. Thou shalt not, verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor.
So it says you should not hate your neighbor. So who's your neighbor then? Is it the man who lives next door who's the white man?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Because guess what? God calls him what? Your enemy. He called the white man your enemy, correct, Victor? So that can't be the person who he says not to hate, right? So who's your neighbor? These people. The people who you lived amongst. When Moses was saying that, who was he speaking to? The children of Israel only, who was standing there with him. So it can't be the other nation that was over there. No, it can't be that. It's your own people. And guess what? It's going to tell you it. Read it again.
Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him.
Don't allow your neighbor to break God's commandments. Because you're going to tell him, hey, brother, guess what? You're in sin because you're eating pork. You're in sin because you're going to go buy and sell and work on the Sabbath. You're in sin because you're not marrying the sister who you went and slept with yesterday. That's what the Lord wants you to do. That's showing love, not hate. Keep reading.
Verse 8, verse 19, verse 18. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people.
You should not bear any grudge against the children of your own people. So if it's your own people, who is that? Those people. That's it. So your neighbors who? Those people. That's it, Victor. What we think our neighbor is because of Christianity has gave us lies is the so-called white man, the Asian man, the East Indian. And we think everybody's our neighbor. No. The Bible's never been all-inclusive. It's all-inclusive only for Israel. That's right. It. That's all. Nobody else. Go back to Deuteronomy 28. Oh, wait. What else laws you know? What other commandments you know? You said don't have hatred for your brothers, right? We know who your brothers are. Is whom? Who's your brothers, Victor? Children of your people, right? All right, all praises. So what else laws do you know?
I want to say obey your mom and dad.
Okay, let me get Exodus 20. Exodus 20. Obey your parents. I like it. Because guess what? Kids don't obey their parents. They don't know that they can get put to death for that. Hey, brother, did you get a flyer? You know you are according to the Bible? You got some time?
No, I'm at work on a break, bro.
Okay, all right. When you come out, give me 2 minutes. 2 minutes, bro. Read that.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 12. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
So it says, honor your father and mother. That is another law. This is in the quote-unquote 10 Commandments, right? There's other laws that go into that. Give me Exodus chapter 22 and
21 and verse 17. And he that curseth his father or his mother shall surely be put to death.
See, it says, honor your parents. If you don't, and you curse them, you're going to get put to death. So when you grow up and you move out of your parents' house, you still have to honor them. You still got to show that respect and that charity and towards them. If they're going against God's laws, you say, no, I'm going to obey whom? God or your parents? Who's going to give you the kingdom? God or your parents? God. So in that case, who would you obey?
God.
All praises. Let's get it. Acts 5. Because we must understand these things all the way. We got to know what all these things are for. 29.
Acts chapter 5 and verse 29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than men.
We, all of us, must obey God rather than men. So whatever it says in the Bible to do, guess what? That's the voice of God. That's what we obey. That's what we have not kept. That's why we're in the condition as a cursed people. So now we have to understand, all right, what is your nationality?
Issachar.
Okay, from what nation? That's a tribe.
Mexico.
No. Right here.
Tribe of Israel.
Tribes of Israel. So you are an Israelite from the tribe of Issachar.
Yeah.
Okay? So now we know that we have to keep God's laws in order to be blessed. This is going to go into what? Us being repentant. Us coming together, us coming on one accord and building our nation back. Because look at our nation. It's in a destroyed state, right? So what are we going to need to do? We need, as men, we need to rise up and lead our nation correctly. That's right. Go back to Acts 5. I want that. 29.
Acts chapter 5 and verse 29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than men.
Read.
The God of our fathers raised up Jesus, whom ye slew and hanged on a tree.
So we know Jesus was the black man that was killed on the tree. So I'm gonna ask you a question. Have you ever seen men killed on trees here in America? With history, maybe not like you actually seen it, but what about have they taught us about people being hung?
Yeah.
Who was that?
I have heard stories.
Heard stories. Okay, you know that was black man, right? Jesus Christ died the blackest death. He was killed in front of his mother and his sister. By whom? The white man. The Romans were the ones who crucified Jesus the Christ. That's what the history they don't want to tell us. Jesus Christ was killed by white people. So-called white people today, that's who killed Jesus Christ, the black Messiah. Because guess what? Jesus Christ isn't a white man. They're not going to kill him in that manner. They're not going to hang him on a tree. They hung us on trees. They've done it to Issachar. In in Texas, they killed just as many Mexicans, or so-called Mexicans, the tribe of Issachar, as they did blacks in the South. And they don't teach you that history.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.